And
that brings me here to something I had in mind, which was asking you questions as far as how you respond in a mature way to people that do those things.
let's do it.
We do a rapid fire of
Sure.
hey, this is what's happening, this is how you respond.
How to respond to assaults and attacks and boundaries and requests. Yeah.
Well, you just said one right now, as a matter of fact, right? Where it's like somebody says, look, I'm going to do this, but it's just, no, I'm doing this for you. Let's say somebody just said that.
Well, there's a difficulty there. It depends how well you know somebody because of boundaries. I can't take somebody's inventory. Like, if this is a stranger, my basic response would be, sounds great if that works for you. Because, well, there's so much wrapped in that as to how you might respond. If it's somebody if it's a partner and you have a history and they have a history of using that against you, then, and eventually it comes out that they're going to beat you up for that. My response might be, can you give me a little bit more information? Why do you think that's for me? So some of it is context of who we're dealing with as to how you respond. It's not always a blanket response. I mean, there are certain things that are a blanket response regardless, but many times it's what type of relationship do we have with this person? Because someone who's more of a stranger, there's less intimacy. And even if I know all of these processes and I know they don't, I would be boundaryless if I then told them what they're doing. And, it's called taking their inventory. That would be completely inappropriate of me. And it's none of my business. They get to try and destroy themselves if they want and they can attempt to destroy me, but it's always my job to contain me. So even if it's somebody I've never met and they make that, and I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go well. I will start placing boundaries right from the very beginning because I know where it's going, but I'm not going to tell them that. That would be inappropriate of me.
Why do you say it's important to set those boundaries right from the beginning?
Well, in my life experience, if I don't set the boundaries, the person I get resentful at is me, and then I take it out on them. And I don't like two things. When I allow poor behavior, I'm enabling someone to be abusive. That goes against my morals and values. That's what people don't realize is I had to learn that from my first wife, who was abusive to me. The first time she hit me and I didn't leave, I was training her how to be abusive. I was enabling it. I played a role in that. I'm not okay. That's destructive on my end. That's manipulative to take the victim position and blame them. That's something I had to learn. Oh my gosh. If I condone poor behavior, that's on me. I don't like to be treated with poor behavior, and I don't like enabling someone else's, because look, no one is born to be abusive. They learn that. And so if I allow it to continue, I am now a perpetrator against them as well. Well, that's not okay with me. And so that's why I set boundaries from the beginning. That's one of the reasons. The second reason is if I don't, eventually, and I give myself away and allow myself to agree to things, eventually, just like we were talking about, I'll get filled with that resentment and I'll take it out on them. Well, that goes against my morals and values too. I don't like to be hurtful to people. So in both reasons, one is I'm protecting you, two, I'm protecting me. So boundaries protect both of us from each other. Mm-hmm. That's why.
Wow. This has me thinking about so many things, man. Like when you hear this, you always connect it to like, oh, that situation, that's what I did wrong. I see what they did there.
Well, just fire off some insults or something, and if we need a context, you can lay out a context, or just try some.
Yeah, so it seems that this boundary application has to do with first determining the context as to, okay, is this a relationship? Is this a stranger at the grocery store? Second, you determine the safety and trust level of the relationship. Is this somebody you've been together with for years that you have demonstrated that you can share vulnerably with, and it's safe, you know, it won't be used against you, it won't
Yeah.
be.
Or they might be human and try and use it against me, but there's a spirit of cooperation that might show up eventually within the relationship because there's a shared history.
Got it.
I mean, they're human. Look, I'm going to be abusive. I'm human. I may know all this stuff, but it doesn't mean I don't act like a shit sometimes. You know, the difference
These
is
are,
I am always looking for when that shows up, and I own it and put a plan in place to address it.
because you're saying these are habits that have become muscle memories that they just launch themselves unexpectedly.
Sure, but look, this is a concept that's really tough, and it took me decades to fully accept. We are human and limited, and the key is limited. You can learn everything there is to know about a topic and still not be able to exercise each aspect of it because we're limited. We will never be perfect at something. We will fail. And that's part of that, going back to the deer thing. Yeah, so I screwed that one up. Big deal. I'm human. I'm limited. That's forgiveness for my limitations. That's the ultimate grace and acceptance of, I don't need to be perfect. And when you investigate the darkness in ourselves, you learn that. I'm always going to have darkness. I'm always going to have mistakes. Big deal. Own them, put a plan in place to address them, make amends, which is sharing your plan with the other person of here's how I'm going to address it. You don't apologize. You let them watch your actions and they get to decide if they want to forgive you. And you live your life that way. You take ownership of it and you learn to forgive yourself and go, you know, I was human. I was limited there. That is not who I want to be. Here's the plan I'm going to put in place. Here's the plan I'm going to tell them about so that they can observe the change, because we are our actions, not our words. And so when I live in that, they can go, wow, he's serious. Okay, I think I'll trust him again. Or they go, you know, that was just too egregious. He's worked his tail off, but I just don't want that in my life. Good for you. You didn't give yourself away. You didn't say yes to something. You wanted to say no. I love you. Thank you. You just loved me because you can't get over it for whatever your reason is. I want you to hold your reason until you decide it no longer works for you. But that keeps us both safe. That ends the cycle of mutual abuse.
And, you know, and it can even prevent
Yeah,
negative cycles like that, or negative.
that's why I'm teaching it. All it does is create intimacy and connection. Every fight, when you learn the model of confrontation and the boundaries, like if you were to start attacking me and I started using it, all it does is create intimacy and connection, even from your attackers.
Well, you know, that's interesting that you brought up this situation of even what happened with us having this Zoom call today. What would you call it? An interview, having this interview today.
Yeah.
And let's call it having this conversation today. I don't even know what to call it. Sure. But I say that because neither of us blamed each other. Neither of us went, you should apologize. Neither of us did any of those things, went anywhere to point a finger. We just said, oh, this happened. Let's move on. Do we want to still do this? Can we do it today?
Yeah.
I said, I'm flexible. Since, you know, you're doing some things, let me know when you're good, right? But yeah, go ahead.
Had I not investigated my darkness, I could have made up that you didn't show up because of some way of rejecting me or not caring or whatever. Instead, where I went is, I bet you it's the time change. I bet you, because in Arizona, we don't change our clocks. In other words, I didn't make it an attack against me. I also chose a different definition. Wow, what if something happened to him? I wonder if he's okay. Remember my text message? I was like, you know, my first one was, hey, did you, you know, miss the time change? I'm here, ready, no response. And then, you know, after a couple minutes, I didn't get that. I went, maybe something happened in your life. If so, I hope you're okay. So in other words, when you don't investigate your how and you don't do the childhood trauma and what I call the worst day cycle work, and you don't develop emotional mastery, you jump to the victim position, project outwards, and make them the problem. Instead, I came up with potential explanations that didn't devalue me or devalue you. They were neutral, and they were about, well, it's out of my control. What can I focus on? Well, I've reached out, made my needs and wants known. That's all I can do. I don't have information from him, so there's no point in assuming a conclusion. I gave out two assumptions, which may or may not be accurate. Don't know. Is there anything else I can do? No. So then I just went back into doing what I can control, filing trademarks for all the stuff in my book. I just got back into my own life. That's called boundaries, moderation, and maturity, and not staying stuck in the victimhood of the worst day cycle and childhood trauma and all of it. That's what emotional mastery gives us. And, the authentic self cycle that I teach of truth, responsibility, healing, and forgiveness. I exercise truth. I took responsibility. I've done the healing work, and therefore, whatever the thing is, I can forgive both of us, So, because
That's
look,
so powerful.
it could have been my responsibility too. Oh, wow, when we set this up, it's been on my mind to let people know about the time change. I could have taken responsibility that I didn't remind him. Not that I'm responsible for you, but that's a part I could have played. I'm okay that I didn't, because they're also responsible for themselves. But again, I'm always looking at truth. What can I control? If I want someone to be on time, what processes and plans can I put in place to guarantee that they're on time? Well, one of them might have been, I could have reminded you about the time change. I chose not to do that. Well, I'm responsible for that. That's the part I can control, and that's the part I played. Doesn't mean I'm solely responsible, but the whole point is our culture immediately goes to them. The authentic self cycle, it creates a paradox. I always go to me. Truth, responsibility, healing, and forgiveness. That's the only way you can live in peace. If my peace is determined on you, I'm the F word. I'm done. And that's what we're teaching in this world, is that our happiness is always derived from the other person. Gag me.
That's so powerful. So
It doesn't
powerful.
work.
Here's the thing, to link it to how you chose to act and how you showed up. I see that we both had the choice at hand. I had a similar choice as you, because I could have blamed you, chosen to blame, chosen to project anger if I felt that. I didn't, right? But I could have in the past, before I did a lot of this work, I would have been, this would have been a different version of me, quote unquote. I could have said, well, how come you didn't let me know? Right? That could be a victim position right there. How come you?
A lot of people would have taken that.
Exactly, like putting it all on you
Yeah.
and taking no responsibility. I could have also said, well, why didn't you call me? Right? And then once again, right? Which, here's the thing, can seem rational, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, man. Like some of these things that they can become like, well, that makes perfect sense.
And all of those are based on a victim position where we immediately assume that the other person is out to get us, to hurt us, in that they are devaluing us. And what people haven't been taught is how you come to that immediate victim position that denigrates you is childhood, the worst day cycle, trauma, fear, shame, and denial. We all immediately give away our inherent worth and value and devalue ourselves and make the assumption the other person is doing that to us. But there is nothing you can ever do on this planet. I don't care if are in jail for life. We as humans always, at all times, have inherent worth and value. The only time we lose it is when we give it away. And so what you're describing is if either one of us had blamed the other, we have just dropped our inherent worth and value. Now it's all contingent upon your reaction and what you did. Otherwise, I'm not valued. Well, that's a sure sign of low self-esteem, of being caught in the trauma, fear, shame, and denial portions of the worst day cycle. There's no truth, responsibility, healing, and forgiveness in that. And therefore, we are not our authentic selves. We are now detached because our inherent worth is our authentic self. We always have worth. And so when we go to that victim position and that you did me wrong and all of this, we have separated from our authenticity. And that's on us to then, at least in my opinion, do the emotional mastery recovery process to reclaim it. That's on me. You can't do that for me. You're not responsible for my healing.
I hear you. And what I see is that when two individuals like we did do the work proactively, do the healing, and these experiences, which could also be described as opportunities to exercise maturity, right? Moderation, right? The opportunities show up. It's quite amazing, to take a look at it now in retrospect and go, yeah, we both chose maturity, healthy, right? And it
Got a
seems
lot of stuff done in that hour.
yeah, but it also it becomes such a smooth sail through the experience because we both, my rationale, by the way, also goes like this. It's like I didn't feel any shame, no anger toward me or you or anywhere. I didn't feel any emotions other than like a passing cloud, like, oh, cool, that happened. What do we want to do now? Basically, I just brought up, like, I see what happened. What do we want to do now? Do you still want to do
Then
this?
you're a lot healthier than I am because I did feel emotions because there is such an ingrained emotional traumatic reaction because of my childhood from people being late or not showing up. So it gave me an opportunity to experience all of that pain, which still just jumps to the surface as though I've never done any recovery work at all. I mean, sometimes it's a little better and, depends on things. But yeah, I had, stuff come up.
Yeah.
But I now know how and why that happens. And more importantly, here's what I need to do. This is about me. And so because I have that emotional mastery process, I didn't project it on you. I was able to come back with a boundaried response of, are you okay? Did something happen to you? Not, how dare we set this up? Don't you, how disrespectful of you, which is what most people would respond, or they jump to that. They lose their inherent value. They disconnect from their authentic self. They play the victim and make the other person the problem.